100% support the nuclear deal.
So you support negotiating with a nation that says "Mark bad America, death upon America." You're comfortable negotiating with a country that hates us.
I'm sorry. Who do we negotiate? We only negotiate with countries that love us? Is that how negotiations work? Have you heard of the phrase diplomacy?
But diplomacy.
There is no negotiation with a country that actually agrees with you.
But
we negotiate with countries that disagree with us.
Patrick Bet-David brought on this woke idiot onto his show, the PBD podcast, here on the Value Time YouTube channel. This guy named Reza Aslan, I believe is how you pronounce it. And of course, he has a book to sell you. And he's going on the Patrick Bet-David podcast. And he got into a very heated debate here with Patrick Bet-David and himself being Reza Aslan about supporting a certain country that Patrick Bet-David doesn't like very much because they absolutely hate us. And I think Patrick Bet-David's in the right here. But let's get into this clip that got extremely heated between Patrick Bet-David and his woke guest here, Reza Aslan, live on the PBD podcast and the Valuetainment YouTube channel.
Iran. I'm an expert in Iran, so I advise those groups. I have no loyalty or membership to NIAC. I'm not here to speak for NIAC.
To be fair, you don't advise the other side, though. You're strictly advising the progressive side. You're not advising
100%,
which they support the nuclear deal, which you support as well.
100% support the nuclear deal.
So you support negotiating with a nation that says "Mark bad America, death upon America." You're comfortable negotiating with a country that hates us.
I'm sorry. Who do we negotiate? We only negotiate with countries that love us? Is that how negotiations work? Have you heard of the phrase diplomacy?
But diplomacy.
There is no negotiation with a country that actually agrees with you.
But
we negotiate with countries that disagree with us.
I totally get that. But for the most part, the countries we negotiate with that disagree with us, they don't say death upon Americans. Iran says death upon Americans, the top of the Iran. This is not even the people in the streets.
Who gives a fuck? So what?
So give them $150 billion? That's a valid concern. That's a valid question.
First of all, it's their money that we are releasing in exchange for removing nuclear weapons from Iran. How do you suggest we remove nuclear weapons from Iran, Patrick?
Okay, I have ideas for you. I can give it to you. Not to remove nuclear weapons. First of all, do you believe no matter whether we give them the money or not, they're not going to continue working on nuclear weapons?
They literally didn't. Hold on. Nope. We're not going to move past this until we establish the facts. The JCPOA, which was negotiated by the United States, Russia, China, the Security Council, and Germany, which is extraordinary. The idea that those 5 countries came together and the European Union and agreed on anything, let alone agreed on this absolutely remarkable deal under the Obama administration to remove all the enriched uranium out of Iran. There is zero doubt that that worked. Zero. The IAEA came out in no uncertain terms and said, within 12 months of that deal being put in place, Iran no longer had the enriched uranium to create a nuclear bomb. Within 12 months...
You have to be naive to believe that.
Okay.
You have to be,
right.
but fair enough. Let's buy into the naivete and move forward.
Okay,
let's just say you're right. Let's say you're right.
Let's not believe the people on the ground who are actually monitoring the nuclear plants.
To believe somebody that believes in the values that they do, yes, I don't believe that. But let me go to the next part and ask you the question. Let me go to the next part and ask you the question.
They do very much hate the country, by the way. Like Patrick Bet-David is completely right here, and on 2 different points. I mean, anybody who supports these countries that Patrick Bet-David is talking about, they take every single opportunity inside of the United States to protest in favor of those countries. And what they always have in common is none of them are ever patriotic, right? Like all of them are leftists on college campuses who absolutely hate whoever the current president is normally, or, they hate Donald Trump. They hate anybody who is running for president or running for office who is pretty patriotic. And they think anybody who is patriotic or nationalistic, they think they're the enemy. They think they're evil. They call them literally Hitler and all this other stuff. It's always those types of people that support these countries. And also the reason for that is because it's those types of people that exist inside of those countries as well. I think Patrick Bet-David is going to cover it here in a second, but, they chant frequently death to America in their own language and things like that. And it's sad that we have people. And then also a really annoying other point that this guy Reza Aslan is making to Patrick Bet-David here that many other people like Douglas Murray and people like that make is, oh, I am right, or this person who I'm sourcing is right because he was on the ground, because he actually went to the war. And a lot of people got mad at Joe Rogan for making fun of Douglas Murray. I think it was all in good fun. I don't think it was him trying to be I don't think he was trying to actually be a dickhead to Douglas Murray. I think he was just making a joke. He's a comedian. That's what he does. Okay. But also, Joe Rogan is right. Like, just because Douglas Murray went to these places, went to these wars for who knows how long, could have been 5 minutes, could have been 5 hours, and then left, doesn't mean that you know more about the war than anybody else, man. We have pretty decent cameras. We can see. We don't have to be there in person. We can see what's going on. So just because you went to the place doesn't make you any more capable of assessing the situation. It actually might make you less capable if you think about it, because maybe you get emotionally attached to one side or the other. Like if you go in on one side of the war, right? You go, like, let's say it's the Russia-Ukraine conflict. If you go behind Ukraine lines, then you're going to see so many sob stories. And look, they're real, of course. Like, there's bad things that Russia is doing to Ukraine, no doubt about it, especially on an individual basis. When you talk to certain families, they're like, yeah, you know, my husband was forced to go to war and he got killed, whatever. Yeah, it's a sad thing. But if you only go to one side, you're going to start to be partial to that side, right? Like, you're not going to think of it logically. You're going to have this emotional tie to one side, and it's going to cloud your judgment instead of just having a bird's eye view, not being emotionally attached to either side, and just assessing the situation from a bird's eye view. So going to these places could actually hinder your assessment of these situations more than it helps. In fact, I don't know how it could help. Please let me know in the comments, like, how could that even help you by going there? We have enough technology to where we don't have to physically be there to assess the situation.
Alternative.
Let me go back to the next one. I'll ask you the question. Okay. Your father was right about Khomeini. Fair?
Yeah, absolutely.
Your father was right. So do you think Iran, and I know this is going to be hard for you to answer this question, don't go Mossadegh. I'm purely talking Shah and the advancements we were making under Shah versus what happened to Iran under Khomeini, okay? If we had a choice between the two, this is not you can't say, well, I would choose this. I wouldn't choose either. If you had a choice between how Iran was during Shah's era versus Khomeini, which would you choose?
Neither.
I knew you were going to say that, but you can't say neither.
Fuck that.
You cannot say neither. How do you mean neither? How can you say neither? Be honest. I'm being serious with you.
You may literally have this idea about the Shah's age that is in your imagination.
I do not have an idea about Shah's age.
You don't remember the thousands of people that he slaughtered on the street, the tens of thousands of people who would disappear into education camps. We replaced one murderous regime with another murderous regime, and it's stupid to say which one would you prefer.
It's naive for you to say what you just said. You said since you've left Iran in 79 till today, Adam asked you a question. When's the last time you visited? You said 2005, before I became famous. You didn't use the word famous, but before I became known in a marketplace. Okay, you haven't gone back since. Under Shah, you could go back. This is not about saying one did it right or one did it wrong.
Is your question which is more beneficial to me or which is better for Iran?
It's by the way, the Shah was more beneficial to the people. You're saying Khomeini is more beneficial to the people.
Fuck no, that's not what I said.
So the question I'm asking is,
literally said
what is more beneficial? You can't say neither, though.
You are telling me which murderous regime would you prefer? The murderous regime of the Shah or the murderous regime of the Ayatollah? You cannot be that
naive, though. You cannot be that naive. Listen, if you take it from that route, the Reza Shah Pahlavi, okay, and Iran, where they were, which, by the way, for me, an imperialist model.
Are you a Pahlavist?
I'm not an imperialist. My model would be more what we have in America. What I'm asking you, a simple question you can't answer. During Khomeini, millions of people died from other countries. Other innocent people died because of Khomeini's policies and his regime. This is not Reza Pahlavi's other people died because of his regime. You can't give that argument.
Okay.
For you to say that I'm going to choose both the same.
If what you want to do is a fun intellectual exercise in which you are saying, gun to my head, I can only pick the murderous regime of the Shah or the murderous regime of the Ayatollahs.
It's too different.
Which one would you want?
You cannot say.
I would say the murderous regime of the Shah.
Okay, so then...
Because you got a gun to my head.
Not because I got a gun to your head. Because logically it makes sense to say right after Khomeini, you're probably not leaving Iran if Shah was still in Iran. No, or not being in Iran. You probably would, and I would probably...
I'd be probably miserable. I wouldn't have rights.
I don't think so.
These people... Dude, Patrick Bet-David's so spot on, man. He's so correct. These people have such a skewed view of how lucky we are in the United States of America. Like, we genuinely are so lucky. And so I think a lot of people, including myself, I think everybody has made this mistake before. We don't always just go around every single day walking around like, wow, we're so lucky to live in the United States of America and have these freedoms that we do. Even though people complain about the freedoms that we don't have, we have a lot of freedoms, that other countries don't. We don't walk around just saying that all day, though. So I think we can underestimate how much harm someone, a bad leader of a country, someone with bad intentions who has power in a certain country can do. They really can do a lot of damage. They can do a lot of harm to the quality of life of the humans that live there. If you take away enough freedoms, the quality of life genuinely does go so far down. So Patrick Bet-David is so right, man. I think this guy Reza Aslan he has a skewed view of what you can really go through in these other countries, man. If I say it all the time, but I'll say it again. Talk to some Homeland Security agents who have worked the southern border. Talk to them and let them describe to you what they've seen, what these people put themselves through just for the opportunity, just for the chance that they could get smuggled through the southern border, man. Like these Homeland Security agents, they find truckfuls of dead people who are trying and understanding that is very much a possibility. You could die. You could starve to death in the back of this truck. If things go wrong, it's a very real possibility. They know that, and they take the chance to get to America anyway. Do you think that they're maybe running from a government and a regime that's running their country that's making their life absolutely miserable to the point where they're willing to risk death? And it's not like a very small percentage. It's a decent percentage that they're going to die. Whether it's starvation, whether it's trying to cross a body of water, whatever it is. There's a reason why people are dying literally to get through the border, to come to the United States. There's a reason for that, man. I think a lot of people lose sight of that, especially people who are on the left wing and they go to these, anti-America protests all the time. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about Patrick Bet-David and how he handled himself in this debate here with this woke idiot Reza Aslan. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about Patrick Bet-David versus this guy here live on the PBD podcast and the Valuetainment YouTube channel.